Aloha, how's it going? My name's Brett Christensen. Today I'm going to go over the Maui market real estate stats for, well, today is June 16th, but we're going to go over the May stats. So the numbers just came in for the month of May. I'll just cut to the chase. What we're seeing right now is a real drop in inventory and a rise in demand. The amount of applications has gone up, and overall we're seeing even the prices rise as well. So we're going to go over all that. Hopefully it's not too long. The island of Maui is very diverse. All of these areas, West Maui, South Maui, Upcountry, the North Shore, you got East Maui. All of these areas are so different, and even within these areas there's even more difference, microclimates, micro everything. First, we're just going to look at the general stats. Now, if you're interested in a specific part of the island, I'd be happy to do a more custom report for you. Just drop me a message however you want, and I'd be happy to put that together for you. What you're going to see in these numbers is that Maui real estate is very much in demand right now. There's not much of it for sale. Why isn't it for sale? Well, I think a lot of the people here are just pretty content with what they've got. There's COVID going on. A lot of people want to stay put, and they're happy to be on Maui. We've been living a good life here without all the tourists. The beaches are empty. There's no traffic. It's really wonderful, honestly. Right now, I've been here almost 20 years, and I cannot remember a time when it was more peaceful. You go to the beaches, you go almost anywhere, and there's no crowds. Go to Costco, go to Mana Foods, you go do anything that you want to do, you go there, and there's plenty of space, plenty of parking. Anyways, enough of that. Here we go. Let's go look at some stats. And if you don't want to look at stats, no worries. But everything I just told you is supported by what we're about to go look at. So here we go. Right away, we're going to be looking at the median sales price. In this graph, it starts over here at 2015, and you can see the price just climbing and climbing, and it's still going up. And April is even surprising because we thought April might show a dip, but you can see the price, it just keeps going up. Now, we'll click over to average. You'll show the average is still showing the same thing. Okay, now we're looking at new listings. This is starting January 2019. So you can see we've just had this big drop. Now, because of this drop in new listings, obviously that means there's less inventory. So if you look for the number of homes for sale, we've seen this long decline. This is just 1 year. Let's go back 5 years. So over the last 5 years, you can see we've just overall had this decline in the number of homes for sale. We look at pending sales. This is 2015. So the number of pending sales, pretty steady until bam, right here, February, March, April, May. So we're looking at a 12% difference from last year. Now we're looking at closed sales. So the number of closed deals for the month of May was down 6.8% from last year, same month. And you can just see overall, this is going back all the way to 2015. You can see that here our peak was 2,800 deals closed in the month of August last year, but still pretty steady, and then bam, a lot of COVID hit. Now if you look at the days on the market, this is kind of interesting. The number of days on the market has gone down 7% for the month of May compared to last year. Okay, now we're looking at the month's supply of inventory relative to sales. This statistic will often help define whether a market is a seller's market or a buyer's market. Price per square foot is up 7.6% for the month of May. And as you can see in this trend, it has just continued to go up since 2005. Let's see if I'll hit the max here. So this is showing, this is 2004, peaked here in 2007, then bottomed out here in 2012, and has been on a steady rise since. And COVID has only pushed it higher. It would take a while for me to cover each area of the island. So if there's a certain neighborhood or area of the island that you'd like me to do a custom report about, let me know and I'd be happy to do that for you. Let's have a look at upcountry area. They've got it broken up to Makawao Town, Olinda. This is pretty high up the hill. Then we've got Pukalani, and then Kula. Let's check out Kula. So this report behind me is just a quick example of a custom report I can put together for you. I can do this for any neighborhood, really. All right, I think we've looked at the sales data enough. Now let's just talk like boots on the ground. You know, if you walk around town, any town in Maui, it's quiet. It's really, really quiet. We rely heavily on tourism. And as far as what we can tell, this slowdown is going to last a long time, much longer than what we saw with 9/11. Something that I think is actually a positive for Maui is that more and more people are working from home. There's a lot of companies that before wouldn't even consider letting their employees work from home, and now are realizing it's just a reality of the times. But you can see here that says beginning middle of March, just 30% of people had actually worked remotely before. And as of beginning of April, 62%. And what that means for Maui is we're actually going to see even more people that are working on the mainland remotely realizing, hey, I don't want to live in this big expensive city. I can actually get a bigger bang for my buck and even move to the island. We don't have many tourists coming here right now. We don't know when they're going to come back. So then the question is, how are people here going to be able to make a living? This graph that you see right here is a little sign of hope, because what it means is there's so many more employers now that are willing to let their workers work remotely. For people that live on Maui, there's a whole new group of jobs available now that they can apply for, that they can do, that weren't available to them before. And then there's also a factor that people that live on the mainland that don't want to live in a big expensive city can actually move to Hawaii, move to paradise, and keep their job. And that wasn't the case for a very long time. And I think we're going to see a lot more people moving to the island that work remotely. We've already seen it, but it's amazing how many people with tech jobs were not able to do that before. I think this one factor alone is pretty huge for the actual marketplace. It's possible that after these loan forbearances come up, so right now about 1 in 15 homeowners in the country have a loan forbearance, which means they're not paying their mortgage and they have a 6-month window where they don't have to pay it. Now they can likely extend that another 6 months, but will they get to extend it more than 12 months? Well, next we're going to actually look at the economy in Hawaii and on Maui. They're showing a 22% unemployment rate in the state, but now check this out. But if you look at Maui County, we're at 36%. And then you wonder, well, maybe once things get back to normal, that will go down. But next, pretty soon here, we're going to look at what happened after 9/11, and you'll see that it actually takes a long time for us to recover. Okay, so next we're actually going to look at what happened on Maui. And when 9/11 happened, I was living here on Maui, and in this report that was published, they attempt to show what happened to the economy and how long it actually took us to recover. So the first number we should be looking at is right here, which is in 2001, Hawaii saw a negative 7.8% change in tourism. And then we were back up by 2002. Okay, so what you see here is a big drop, but it's very short-lived. After September 11th, this big drop in the amount of people that came to Hawaii. And I remember it was kind of eerie because the streets are so quiet. Well, now this has just been going on for months. How long did it take Hawaii to recover from the 9/11 dip? Visitor arrivals had that big dip, but then gets pretty much right back on track. If you look on this graph, you're going to see something interesting. You notice the employment rate dropped significantly, but did not jump back the same way that the visitor numbers did. So we're seeing actually a much slower response from the industry, which is quite interesting. You think they might be the same. What we see here is really across the board, this really slow recovery. And this is all from a very short small blip in our arrivals numbers. Okay, now we're gonna go over the tourism statistics. They're really slow to get us these numbers. We're looking at April right now, and I wish I could show you May, but they take a long time to get us this data. So, but what's pretty nuts is what's on the graph here. I'll switch it. It's pretty wild. I've never seen anything like this. So as you can see, we're on the Hawaii.gov website, and if you come down here, you can see these numbers. The most interesting one is right here, how tourism was down 99%. 99%. Last month when I did a video and never published it, it was at 54%. That was pretty nuts. So when I tell you guys, I've never seen the beaches this empty or anything this empty. I mean, think about that. 99% of our tourism was cut off. If you look down here, what tourism did come to Hawaii stayed on Oahu because they have all these, you know, they don't want people flying inter-island. They want them to fly here and just hide in a hotel room. So they're obviously not going to be like island hopping. So you look right here, we got 14% of what visitors did come to the islands. A whopping 19% of the visitors that did come to Hawaii were here for the first time. Not the probably the best first impression. You'll notice here we had a pretty major dip in arrivals, and this is when we had the 08, 09 recession. You can really see that it's pretty clear we had a pretty heavy drop. Now here you see just the cycles, you know, through the year. Of course we have, you know, goes up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, and then here just absolute cliff to 99%. 99%. And a tourist ain't one. God, that was terrible. That wasn't funny. Okay. Maui, as you can see here, has really come to a standstill as far as an economy goes. There's still construction going on, there's still a lot of operations happening, but as far as money being generated on Maui, not really happening according to this chart. Okay, now we're looking at interest rates. This graph shows interest rates for the last 5 years. If I make it longer, let's do 25 years, you can see that we are in just record lows. If we go look at 5 years, you can see they've been creeping up the interest rates. Let's do 25 years. So you can see that right around the real estate recession of 2007, 2008, they right when you see these numbers drop, that's when the market was basically crashing, and they also got really strict on how they did loans. So right about here was when they were giving loans to just about anybody with variable rate interest rates and all that kind of stuff. So right here we see the crash, interest rates staying low, they came up, and then we'll come back to that. So right now, if you look at this, that's 1 year. So this is our 5-year history of interest rates. You can see, no question, we are at record low interest rates. This is nuts. We'll go to 1 year. This is the last year. Recently, they've dropped them even lower. While interest rates are lower, they've made it more difficult to get loans. Here we're looking at the number of applications for mortgages. We can see in April we actually saw a big jump in people applying for loans. There is buyer interest out there. There's more people with time on their hands. They have time to shop. We're talking to a lot of people that are looking at making changes, and that usually involves either selling their house, you know, and then buying a new house, or maybe getting out of their rental and making a move to a new location. What I'm seeing on Maui is we're very dependent on these visitors. We need these visitors to come back to really get this economy back on track. And if history repeats itself, it's gonna be a long time. Will 12 months of forbearance be enough for these homeowners to figure something new out? Time will tell. It's pretty much a neutral market. I can't say it's a buyer's market. I can't say it's a seller's market. If you look at the data, we're basically sitting at a neutral market. Interest rates are really low. If someone can actually get a loan right now, which isn't everyone, then they can lock in a really low interest rates. We don't know what interest rates are going to do. If you look at the numbers, I'll do that in another report. You'll see that, let's say you want to wait a year and a half. Well, yeah, prices could potentially be lower in a year and a half, but interest rates could be way higher. So you might be borrowing less money, but at a higher interest rate, your payment will probably be higher than what you'd get it at right now. That is the end of my report, and I hope you enjoyed this. You can get a hold of me via the info below. You guys take care, and I try my best to not use a crystal ball here. I'm just looking at data and seeing what that tells us about the future, because no one really knows, and if someone's telling you they know, then they're probably trying to sell you something. But I am a real estate agent, so if you do want to buy something or sell something, I'd be happy to help you, and let me know.